All right, good afternoon. This is Judge Alyssa Perez presiding over the 210th District Court criminal docket for June 7, 2022. All matters being heard today are being heard in accordance with all emergency orders and directives regarding COVID-19. In addition to that, we are streaming all matters live via YouTube for public viewing. I'll go ahead and call it Mr. Marufo, calling cause number 2021-0D00539, State of Texas versus Diana Ruiz. May I have announcements, please?
Robert King for the state of Texas.
You're ready.
Whoa. Okay, Mr. Coronado, on the audio, I'd ask you to not. Wow, there's some feedback.
Really?
And then when you moved forward, we totally lost you. So I'll ask maybe to limit the movement, and when you're not speaking, if you'll mute, please. I don't know if there's something going on with Zoom because we've had a lot of issues. Erica, you'll let me know if you have any issues, okay? Ms.
Can you
Reese,
hear me good now?
Yes.
Okay. All right.
Ms. Reese, are you able to hear us okay?
Yes, I am.
Okay. We are scheduled for a plea today, so I'm going to be asking you questions. I will need to swear you in. Ma'am, would you raise your right hand, please? You swear or affirm that any testimony you provide will be the truth and the whole truth.
I swear.
Thank you. You can put your hand down. Would you state your name and date of birth for the record, please?
Diana Ruiz,
Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
Diana Ruiz, August 3rd, 1994.
Okay, and as I mentioned, scheduled for a plea today. I'm going to ask you about documents you should have reviewed with your attorney, the first of which is marked as State's Exhibit number 1. Those are the plea papers. Within that document, you're guaranteed certain rights, including the right to remain silent, the right to trial by jury, the right to counsel, the right to confront and cross-examine witnesses, and the right to call witnesses on your behalf and in your defense. Ms. Reese, do you recall reviewing State's Exhibit number 1 with your attorney and signing that document?
Yes, ma'am.
And did you understand everything contained within that document?
Yes.
Mr. Coronado, have you had more than 10 days to prepare a defense in this case? And you're muted.
Yes, we have, Your Honor.
And did you explain the plea papers to your client?
Yes, we did, Judge.
Do you believe she has understood the admonishments, rights, and consequences of giving up these rights by entering her plea today?
I do.
Ms. Reese, are you satisfied with your attorney's representation of you?
What? Yes.
Have you had any issues communicating with your attorney up and through the point of your plea today?
No.
Okay, nothing you need to discuss with your attorney outside the presence of the court, privately, before we continue any further?
No, ma'am.
Okay. Mr. Coronado, do you have any reason to believe your client is not presently competent to enter her plea? And I'm sorry, Mr. Coronado, I keep muting you because it seems to be that your audio creates a little bit of the feedback.
Okay, Judge. No, Judge, I feel that she understands both the charges against her, the consequences of entering a plea or going to trial, and if it were her desire to go to a jury trial, she would be able to assist me in preparing a defense.
Wonderful. Ms. Reese, have you ever been found incompetent by any court?
Never.
Ever been examined by a doctor or psychiatrist who has found you mentally ill?
No, never.
Okay, so based on your testimony, your attorney's representations, and my observations of you, I'm going to find that you are competent to enter your plea today. Ma'am, are you a U.S. citizen?
I am.
Where were you born?
El Paso, Texas.
Okay. In this case, you are charged with 2 counts of abandoning or endangering a child with the intent to return. As to the first count, what is your plea? Guilty or not guilty?
Guilty.
Your Honor?
Yes, sir.
This case is being reduced, the agreement.
It's a 1244B, right?
Yes.
Okay. So we'll go over, but it's not to a lesser included, it's just per 1244B. So the charge is still abandoning or endangering a child with the intent to return.
Yes, but for a Class A misdemeanor, yes.
So ma'am, to that charge, again, as to count 1, your plea is still guilty?
Yes, Your Honor.
And as to count 2, the same charge, what is your plea, guilty or not guilty?
Guilty.
Are you making each of your pleas freely and voluntarily?
Yes, I am, Your Honor.
Okay, I'll find you're making your pleas freely and voluntarily. Ms. King, would you summarize the evidence, please?
Yes, Your Honor. Were the state to proceed to trial on the indictment, the state would have proven each and every element, the offense charged with count 1 and count 2 of abandoning, endangering child with the intent to return beyond a reasonable doubt. Judge, the defendant is pleading to 1244B of 20 months deferred adult probation and $100 donation to El Pasoans Fighting Hunger in lieu of 200 hours of community service and other terms and conditions stated on the state's plea paperwork. And at this time, the state moves to admit Exhibit 1 as the state's plea paperwork, Exhibit 2, Article 3914 disclosure, and Exhibit 3 as the indictment.
Objections, Your Honor.
Without objection, states 1. Mr. Coronado, I'm going to have to mute you again because that's where we get the, thank you. Without objection, states 1, 2, and 3 are admitted. What is the plea? Mr. Coronado, is that your understanding of the plea agreement?
Yes, Judge, it is 20 months. The terms, I can also hear this kind of an echoing. I don't know what's going on. Judge, that is the agreement. Also, with respect to some of the terms, there will be a $100 donation in lieu of the community service.
I had down a $4,000 fine, $3,800 of that being probated, TAP, screening, UABA, curfew, court costs, and parenting classes. Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay. Ms. Reese, is that your understanding as well?
It is, Your Honor.
Okay. Understand that the plea agreement is not binding on the court. However, if I were to reject it, I would allow you to withdraw your plea. If I follow the plea agreement, you may not appeal this case except on matters raised by written motion and ruled on before trial or by permission of the court. The next document I'm going to ask you about is the one-page document entitled the Trial Court Certification of Your Right to Appeal. It is a document that explains your appeal rights. Because this is a plea bargained or negotiated case, you do not have an automatic right of appeal. Ms. Reese, do you recall reviewing the trial court certification with your attorney and signing that document?
Yes, I do, Your Honor.
Okay. Finally, the last document is the motion for deferred adjudication. Ms. Reese, do you recall reviewing the motion for deferred adjudication with your attorney and signing that document?
Yes, I do, Your Honor.
Mr. Coronado, have you explained to your client both the benefits and detriments of deferred adjudication?
Yes, Your Honor. She understands that if she were completed, this case would get dismissed, and if not, she could face the range of punishment, the full range of punishment for this case if she violates the terms.
Okay. Ms. Reese, do you understand that if you violate a condition of deferred adjudication, the court can proceed to sentence you up to the full range of punishment for this offense? And in this case, because it is being reduced pursuant to 1244B of the Texas Penal Code, that is up to 1 year confinement in the El Paso County Detention Facility. You understand that?
I understand, Your Honor.
And are you asking the court to grant you deferred adjudication? Ms. Reese, are you asking the court to grant you deferred adjudication?
Yes, I am, Your Honor.
Okay. I will find there is sufficient evidence to substantiate a finding of guilt in this case. However, I will not enter a finding of guilt at this time. Instead, I will defer further proceedings and place you on community supervision pursuant to the plea agreement and per 1244B of the Texas Penal Code for a period of 20 months. There will be a $4,000 fine. $3,800 of that will be probated, which means, Ms. Reese, as long as you're in compliance with your terms of probation, they're only going to come collect the difference in the fine. If at some point you are not in compliance, they can come back for the whole $4,000, okay? In lieu of the 200 hours of community service, I will accept the donation as indicated for El Pasoans Fighting Hunger. You will be screened for TAP. You will be subject to urine and breath analysis, curfew, court costs, and parenting classes. Understand that if you successfully complete your probation, you may petition the court for an order of non-disclosure. Is there anything further, Mr. Coronado or Ms. King?
Nothing further from the Your Honor.
Your Honor, we do. She's already completed the parenting classes. We asked that obviously the court, after we have provided that documentation, that she obviously get credit. She had gone through this through CPS and did the parenting classes and completed their terms.
As long as the parenting classes post-date the date of offense, absolutely.
Thank you.
What else?
That's all, Judge.
Okay, thank you very much. Good luck to you, Ms. Reese.
Thank you.
Take care. Thank you, Mr. Coronel.
Thank you, Judge. Judge, we have one other case at 3. I was hoping we could take care of that because I'm trying to go this afternoon on our other case that we have set that we just discussed this morning, Mr. Alegre's case, to do the forensic video.
Okay, let's go ahead and get off of YouTube because
Yes, Judge.
this is